Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Why are people out on the roads today? Why are people marching and chanting Aftab ko phansi do? This outpouring of anger and outrage against Aftab is because of the spine-chilling details that are tumbling out. Let's deep dive to understand the mind of a monster. Shraddha's murder probe has thrown some startling and shocking details out into the open. Just moments before murdering Shraddha, Aftab took 10 hours to chop the body of his live-in partner Shraddha Walker into 35 pieces. And in between carrying out this grisly act, Aftab took breaks, drank beer, smoked cigarettes and ordered food on Zomato. The probe details are sickening and I advise viewer discretion because it just might be deeply disturbing to even hear what Aftab did to Shraddha. And right after chopping her body, ladies and gentlemen, he even spoke to her severed head for hours. And then while disposing it, burnt her face so that she shouldn't be recognized. Not just that, after chopping her body into 35 pieces, which he put into a refrigerator, Aftab just sat and watched Netflix. That is the mind of this monster. And this lively and bubbly girl, captured on the lens of a camera, was very, very happy in the year 2018 before Aftab entered Shraddha's life. She's been seen with her college friends. It was certainly happier times for Shraddha then, as you can see in those pictures. Young, with a bright future ahead of her, a lively young girl. Today, her parents don't even have the body to conduct her last rites. Shraddha's friend reveals how Aftab used to torture her. Listen.
She only mentioned that he used to hit her very badly. That's the thing she only mentioned it. Oh. And that was before 1 year. It's been now 1.5 years. 1 year before this happened. So after that we were not in contact at all.
So Shivani, you are saying 1 year before, 1.5 year before you met her, and from that time he was hitting her. So see how badly.
That there was no reason actually. She mentioned that from small things also they used to fight and all. So she didn't mention the proper reason. I didn't ask her. I only told her that if this is the problem, this is the case, you should leave him. Because he wasn't that close to me later on. When she met me after 2 years. And then I couldn't force her to do anything because that was the first meeting after 2 years. So I can't tell her proper ekdam haq se ki do this, do that. I only suggested her that this is not fair. I think you should leave him. And she was like, okay, I'll think about it. I'm thinking about it that I'm gonna leave him, but then he loves me and he always gives me, I'll do suicide and all. He always blackmails me. So I think he'll do that. So I can't leave him.
Okay, blackmailing also. He used to blackmail also.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me,
that was the reason she was not leaving him.
If you see in the news, if you see in the news, her body was in the fridge. So, what do you really think she mentioned about the drug element that he used to take and did all that?
No. She never mentioned it, but I think he must be doing it.
लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं अब जिस तरह से अभी ये हादसा हुआ, ऐसा लग रहा है कि शायद वो हमें, क्योंकि किसी लोगों को बताइए जो काफ़ी क्लोज थे, लेकिन हम भी थे उस समय, शायद ये गलती होगी कि हमने उसे ज़्यादा कोशिश नहीं किया बातचीत करने की, लेकिन वो अपने रिलेशनशिप को लेकर शायद बताना नहीं चाह रही थी. कहीं ना कहीं ये भी कारण है.
While India is with Shraddha and the protesters have only one demand, listen in to what they have to say.
उसको फांसी दी जाए और जो एविडेंस वो मिटा चुका है और मिटाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो माननीय न्यायालय से अनुरोध है कि उस चीज को इग्नोर करते हुए इमीडिएट उसको फांसी दी जाए.
बिल्कुल हम ट्रिब्यूट दे रहे हैं, हम श्रद्धांजलि देने के लिए आए हैं. हम चाहते हैं कि उनकी आत्मा को शांति मिले, लेकिन शांति दिन मिलेगी, हमारे हिसाब से शांति उस दिन मिलेगी जिस दिन उसके कातिल को फांसी होगी। मांग करती हूँ पीएम मोदी जी से, आदरणीय मोदी जी से, कि त्वरित इस पे कार्रवाई की जाए और उसको सजा, कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
कैंडल मार्च दोबारा ना हो, मेरा अपनी जो हमारी न्याय प्रणाली है उससे आग्रह है कि इस तरह के केसेस को जो लव जिहाद के हैं और जघन्य हत्या का ये जो है उनकी मानसिकता को तुरंत फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पे लाकर उसको तुरंत फांसी की सजा दी।
हिंदुओं के लिए बहुत ही जो है गलत चीज है। हिंदू लड़कियों को फंसाते हैं, उसके बाद प्यार मोहब्बत का नाटक करके उसको काट के फेंक देते हैं। ये लव जिहाद गलत बात है। अगर आप किसी को प्यार करते हैं, प्रेम करते हैं, तो उसको स्वीकार करो। लेकिन ये झूठ बोल के, हिंदू नाम रख के, मुस्लिम हो के लड़कियों को फंसाते हैं और उसके बाद उसको शादी करके काट।
The cops have at least 5 more days to connect the dots. They are banking on the narco test to provide a clue to build a foolproof case against Aftab. And that brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Shraddha, a test case for our justice system? That's the question we're asking. And the hashtag of the debate, India with Shraddha. And the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Ishkarn Bhandari, advocate, Nikhat Abbas, lawyer and social activist, Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer, Kalimul Hafiz, president of AIMIM in Delhi, advocate Talha Rashakti, is spokesperson of the Rashtriya Ulema Council, Ishkarn Poonawala, political analyst. But my first question goes to Rajat Shukla, Shraddha's friend. Rajat Shukla, when did you last meet Shraddha? And did she give any hint of a troubled relationship with Aftab?
Well, the last meeting was in 2019 and the signals were to a way that Shraddha was no more the Shraddha that I was with since the 3 years of our college. She was a little different person. Since 2015, I am knowing her, and she was a very jolly, bubbly girl, you know, extrovert, outspoken. She loved to talk, she loved to hang out, meet different people. She was blunt. She had... she was very clear of what to choose and what not to choose. You know, this person, when she becomes dull, you know, this kind of a person would definitely get surprised. I mean, I was shockingly surprised to see why this person is now becoming reserved. She was not talking, and the last meeting that I had with her, she was not there, not just reserved, but she was rude. I was shockingly surprised that why is she behaving this way. And a few days later, I got to know that she is in a relationship with this guy, Aftab. And then it was known to me that she's already into relationship since 2018 itself, you know, secretly. And, you know, days after that, you know, Shraddha had herself revealed that Aftab beats her up, you know, he's too violent, he's abusive. So all those things, you know, started coming up and, you know, it continued. But one question was always there in the mind, and you know, a lot of people have been questioning, you know, in our friend circle as well, you know, till now, that in spite she knowing that it's an abusive relationship, in spite she being that conscious and bold to really understand that this is abusive and she shouldn't be there, she was still continuing. Maybe there was a big blackmailing, and that cannot be just limited to the one that you know, one of my college friend has mentioned on your channel, you know, that, you know, suicide can be one thing. I think there is more to this that is not known to the naked eyes. No, we can't really see. There is something more which is hidden, and I think it should be investigated and should be known to people. Apart from that,
but tell me, Rajat,
I think there is one thing.
You know, you knew she was in a relationship,
yeah,
and your friend circle knew that this was an abusive relationship. Did you try to get in touch with her? Did the close friends try to be in touch with her? Because you say you last sort of met her or spoke to her in 2019. Since then, did she just drift apart? Did you ever attempt to get to her? Did she block you?
So there was one friend of her. Who was her childhood friend, and because of that, he inspired so many. I think the biggest of the biggest influence that Aftab had created. This guy, the childhood friend of Shraddha, still tried and always stayed in touch with Shraddha. And he was the one in 2021 when Shraddha had literally messaged him that, my life is in danger, you please rescue me, or tonight this guy might kill me, So these are few signals that Shraddha gave, and these guys, there were more college friends of mine, they really went to Aftab's place. And they literally told him that they'll take him to the police. However, Shraddha was the one to stop them, to tell them that please give him a chance. And he was also acting that he's afraid and he won't be repeating these things. However, he continued doing these things with the progressing time, and in fact it went more deeper. The last that we had known about the relationship and what happens in between was when Shraddha went to one of her female friend and showed her the marks on her back. Those were the cigarette butts marks on her back. So that was really spine chilling for us to understand that in what kind of a relationship she is. However, this is I don't know what to say about this, that there was something extremely tough for Shraddha to handle about this relationship, some very big hook because of which she was holding on to it, and that's really unknown, and it cannot be love. I can guarantee this. It cannot be love. It cannot be what is being portrayed, that is she was compelling for marriage and all of that. It cannot be that. There is something more to this, definitely.
Ishkarn Bhandari, there was another hook, says Rajat Shukla. What do you think? I mean, right now, the police obviously is looking for clues in the dark. Shraddha died on or was butchered on 18th of May. The man is actually arrested on the 11th of November. In between, there's a passage of time, and nobody knows what kind of clues are going to stand up as evidence. And 35 pieces of her body with a man who's sitting drinking beer while chopping off a body, watching Netflix, ordering food on Zomato, doesn't seem like a normal guy to me. And Rajat Shukla also points out towards some hook he may have had. The question here is, if the Delhi police is banking on a narco test, which is not even admissible in a court, do you think the evidence is going to stack up? Do you think the laws in our country are in place? Or do you think, this investigation and this matter is going to stretch for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? And today, we are angry as a society. Our anger is going to dissipate. Our attention is going to get diverted. And justice for Shraddha will be a far cry.
Navika ji, of course, there are so many things in this case which do not make sense. That is why the first day it came, I said there should be a deeper, maybe an NIA investigation into this, because please understand, this man, so-called layman, non-professional man, knows how to butcher a body in 35 parts. Experienced criminals cannot dispose of a body as professionally as this man has done. From the blood which he has managed to clean, from the limbs he has thrown in Mehroli jungle, and he is not a Delhi resident. From the face he is burnt and police still has not found the face. Hardcore professional criminals will find it difficult to dispose of a body like this. And today I read an even more shocking thing, that he met almost 20 girls after this. And that has come in a very reputed Hindi newspaper, that 20 और लड़कियों से इसके करीबी रिश्ते थे. How does all this happen that girls come to his house? What was his training? What was his conduct? Was he being trained in certain manner? All that needs to be investigated very, very deeply, because this is not the norm, either in personal life that is coming out that he was doing. Shraddha, an educated, confident girl with a good friend circle, he was beating her, as the friend has told us, and still she was taking. What was the reason that he was managing to keep her with him? That needs to be investigated. his manner of disposing of body needs to be investigated. The only silver lining in this entire case is that finally such cases are getting media attention. Delhi ke bahar hota, it is buried under a carpet. Just yesterday, Lucknow, a case happened in which a young girl, 19-year-old girl, was given a phone by this Safiana, wanting her to convert. She refused to convert and he threw her from the balcony or the fourth floor or something like that. So whether this is a similar case or not, I don't know. But at least we are having discussions on a very, very vital issue which was long pending. Please understand, Kerala High Court in 2009 said that there is a problem of love jihad. Now, before people accuse anybody of anything, Kerala police investigation is not by a BJP-controlled government in 2009. Kerala High Court decision has nothing to do with BJP. The protest there was by the Christian community. So, of course, there are many things happening in India which, because of political correctness, which because of social realities, we are not facing or calling out. Only way of justice, not only conviction of this guy, is that at least it should be a very transparent, very open, very deep investigation, so everybody is satisfied that justice has been done.
Well, let me ask this question of Kalimul Hafiz, president of the AIMIM in Delhi. Hafiz Saab, question has been raised by Mr. Ishkarn Bhandari, and there has been a candlelight march where people are questioning why there is so much silence on the killing of Shraddha, a Hindu girl, because and many people are saying, it's not my statement, if this was, a Shazia or a Shaheen, there would have been protests all across. But today people are silent. And is there a pattern that is emerging in a case like this? While I don't want to get into that debate really, but it is public perception which is continuing to grow. Mr. Hafiz, do you think there is some merit in the pattern that is emerging, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
It's not a pattern and not a coincidence. ये सिर्फ एक अपराध है. अभी कल ही सरता विहार में राहुल वर्मा ने गुलशन का मर्डर कर दिया और उसके साथ उसे सरता विहार में मर्डर करके 3 दिन तक लाश भी वहाँ पे रखी और फिर उसके बाद एक साल पुरानी उसकी बच्ची थी, उसको लेकर वो गायब हो गया. सरता विहार पुलिस ने उसको केस रजिस्टर्ड किया है. तो वो राहुल वर्मा वहाँ पे है जो मारने वाला है, मरने वाली गुलशन है. मैंने आपको पहले भी कहा है कि चाहे प्रीति शर्मा ने फिरोज का गला काट के उसकी हत्या की हो और उसे सूटकेस में लेकर वो गाजियाबाद रेलवे स्टेशन पर पकड़ी गई हो, चाहे वो अंकिता भंडारी हो, चाहे वो अंकिता झारखंड वाली हो, या हमारी ये बेटी श्रद्धा हो, ये सब एक जघन्य अपराध की श्रेणी में आता है. इसको हमारे समाज को बैठ के ये सोचना चाहिए कि आखिर हमारा समाज किस तरफ जा रहा है. ये न्याय व्यवस्था पे भी एक सवालिया निशान लगाता है कि आखिर हम इस तरह के हत्यारों को एक ऐसी सजा क्यों नहीं देते कि जिससे लोग जुर्म करने से पहले उनकी रूह कांप जाए. क्योंकि देखिए, जो सरकारें हैं उनकी जिम्मेदारी है. जिस तरह से बिल्किस बानो के केस में उसकी 3 साल की बच्ची को पत्थर से उसका सर तोड़ के उसको मार दिया गया और उसे सरकार ने, उसे न्याय व्यवस्था ने सजा भी दी, उसके बाद भी सरकारों ने उसको छोड़ दिया. तो ये सब जो मैसेजिंग हो रही है ये सब अच्छी नहीं है समाज के लिए. मैं कहता हूं आप
your statement is making hands go up, hands are going up on the panel.
किसी तरीके से धर्म के एंगल से देखना ये बिल्कुल गलत है.
ओके, गलत है. रजत शुक्ला श्रद्धा के दोस्त हैं. He wants to respond to you, Mr. Hafiz. Go ahead, Raja.
I mean, we can clearly see, not just I, me, people here, but anybody and everybody who has known this case and are conscious people and has a little bit sense can understand that this is no normal case. And Aftab is no normal person. The way he has pulled off this murder, the way he had almost cleared off all the evidences is no normal thing. And let me reveal something here that is very important to understand what all angles people are bringing in this and why they are bringing this and why they should actually be brought. Let me tell you something. 15 days before this investigation, and the things were before people, Aftab's parents shifted from their original residence where they were residing for the last 23 years. How do you think that's possible? The way he has pulled off the murder, that is certainly something that a person with a deep training would get. I tell you, with I don't know what confidence, but this seems to me like a terrorism angle. Love jihad is a very small thing here. It seems to me that this person is trained by some terrorist organization. And why do I not say this? Is it not visible to people the way he has committed this crime? Why are Aftab's parents, why did they flee? Why are they
Important
not
question.
staying in their
रजत
original
शुक्ला
residence?
कह रहे हैं कि
When it has to
अगर
be
आफ्ताब ने ये किया तो उनको कहीं ना कहीं से हेल्प मिल रही थी। उसके पेरेंट्स कुछ ही दिन पहले, इन्वेस्टिगेशन से कुछ ही दिन पहले अपने 23 साल पुराना घर छोड़कर निकल गए। अनदर कोइंसिडेंस हाफिज साहब?
नहीं, देखिए ये बात बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं शुक्ला साहब, और इसकी एनआईए इन्वेस्टिगेट करे। अगर इसमें कोई आतंकवादी एंगल है तो उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करे, लेकिन बजाय इसके जब तक हमारे कोई इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी कोई चीज रिवील न करे।
पर आपने ये पहले नहीं कहा। पहले आपका क्या स्टेटमेंट था? पहले आपका क्या स्टेटमेंट था? राहुल वर्मा का और गुलशन का स्टेटमेंट था। अब आप कह रहे हैं एनआईए की इन्वेस्टिगेशन करो क्योंकि रजत शुक्ला ने सवाल उठाए। इश्करन भंडारी, रिस्पॉन्ड।
नाविका जी, आपने देखा, जब मैंने अपनी पहली बारी बोला, मैंने कहा इसमें एनआईए इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए। उसके बाद आपने मिस्टर हफीज से पूछा तो उन्होंने पहली चीज क्या कही? नहीं, इसमें कोई रिलीजियस एंगल नहीं है, ये एक हीनियस ऑफेंस है, हीनियस क्राइम है। ऑफ कोर्स सर तन से भी एक हीनियस क्राइम होता है। उस क्राइम के पीछे मोटिव क्या होता है? हम यहां मोटिव्स की बात कर रहे हैं। आपके हिसाब से जो सर तन से कर रहे हैं वो सिर्फ हीनियस क्राइम है या उस क्राइम के पीछे एक रिलीजियस मोटिव भी है? इस केस में क्या है? मेरे से जब पूछा गया, मैंने कहा मुझे इस केस का पता नहीं, पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है, पर लव जिहाद के ऊपर यूपी में कन्विक्शन भी हो चुकी है, केरला हाईकोर्ट बोल भी चुका है। तो आप उसको जब सिरे से खारिज करते हैं, यही कॉन्स्पिरेसी ऑफ साइलेंस है, जहां पे आप सोशल मीडिया में एक कॉन्स्पिरेसी बना देते हैं कि किस दिशा में पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकती है, किस दिशा में नहीं कर सकती। एक मिनट मुझे बोलने दीजिए, खत्म करने दीजिए। पुलिस का जब वर्जन आएगा, हो सकता है ये कंप्लीट लव जिहाद का केस हो सकता है ये सिर्फ क्राइम का केस हो सकता है ये टेररिज्म का केस हो। यहां बैठ के जो आप खारिज करते हैं कि सिर्फ यही ऑप्शन एक हो सकती है, जबकि रियलिटी क्या है? केरला हाईकोर्ट लव जिहाद की बात कर चुका है और यूपी के कोर्ट्स एविडेंस के बाद, क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन के बाद लव जिहाद पे कन्विक्ट कर चुके हैं। उन रियलिटी से अब आप पर्दा नहीं फेर।
हाफिज साहब, जब आप खारिज करते हैं, व्हेन यू डिसमिस दिस थ्योरी कंप्लीटली, यू आर नॉट इवन रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट इट एज एन ऑप्शन, दैट्स व्हेन पीपल बिगिन टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस।
लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, मैंने आपको कल का केस बताया और दिल्ली का केस है और सरता विहार पुलिस स्टेशन का केस है, राहुल वर्मा ने गुलशन का मर्डर किया है। अब इसको मैं कहूं कौन सा लव जिहाद बोलूं इसको मैं? देखिए, आप लोग अपनी मर्जी से जो मनगढ़ंत कहानियां बता करके समाज का सौहार्द बिगाड़ रहे हैं। खुदा के वास्ते, देश के वास्ते इससे बचिए। अपराधी को अपराधी मानिए, उसको सख्त सजा दीजिए।
क्या है अपराध है या रिलीजियस मोटिव का अपराध है?
अपराध करने से पहले रूह कांप जाए। लेकिन जो बिना वजह के जो आप एंगल ढूंढ रहे हैं, अगर इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी कुछ
10 सेकंड का सवाल, 10 सेकंड का सवाल, सर तन से आप जवाब दे दीजिए।
इससे बचिए, इससे आपको फायदा क्या होना?
क्राइम है या क्राइम विद रिलीजियस मोटिव है आपके हिसाब से?
काम कर रहे हैं,
आप जवाब दे दीजिए, आप भाग नहीं पाएंगे इस सवाल।
हाफिज साहब, सीधा सा सवाल, आप इमोशनल ना हो। हम कतई नहीं कह रहे कि ये कंक्लूसिवली लव जिहाद है या टेरर है या क्राइम है। हम कह रहे हैं तीनों ऑप्शंस में से कुछ भी हो सकता है। आप इमोशनल हो रहे हैं। लेकिन इश्करन भंडारी ने आपसे सवाल पूछा है कि जब नारे लगते हैं सर तन से जुदा हो, वो क्या होता है?
नारे नहीं, सर जुदा भी होते हैं तन से।
वो वही होता है। नहीं, मैं जवाब, वो वही होता है जब जंतर मंतर पे ये कहा जाता है
देखिए जवाब
बुल्ले काटे जाएंगे, राम राम चिल्लाएंगे, ये वही होता है। उसको बताएं इश्करन जी, वो कहाँ से सीख कर आते हैं?
जवाब नहीं।
मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ जो नारे
well, 1 minute. Let's not go in that direction. 1 minute. Ishkarn Bhandari and Mr. Hafiz, let's just calm down. We are talking about Shraddha here. Shraddha Walker, whose body was cut into 35 people. Let's not go anywhere other than this case today. And Mr. Yashovardhan Azad, I want to ask you this question. The whole case will rest on the evidence that is got. And the manner in which this man called Aftab has virtually done this. You've been a police officer for such a long time. What do you think? Is this pre-planned? Is this cold-blooded? Can this be done alone? Were there accomplices in this? Can somebody actually sit and plan this out? And what is the connection? 20 girlfriends after the murder. Can this be a modus operandi? This guy was befriended on a dating website. Were there other girls who have faced similar things with him? He couldn't have become an abuser, putting cigarette butts on Shraddha's back and not have done this to somebody else. How are we going to know the details? And can the Delhi police get enough evidence in record time? Because the anger in the society today is, will investigation really reach the logical conclusion, considering that the Delhi police seems to be groping in the dark for now?
A lot of questions, Navika, so give me some time to respond to each one of them. I'm glad you've come back focusing on the case as such. First point regarding the investigation. There are three very, very critical issues in this. One is the overwhelming circumstantial evidence. Second is the criminal intent, and you've already, talked about it, how he tried to sort of obliterate every kind of evidence. And third is, of course, the hard evidence which you get through the forensics. Now, it's true that Delhi police has a tough case on hand. It has not recovered the skull. It has not recovered the machete. And there are, things to be linked up. That is the electronic evidence with the circumstantial evidence, with the mens rea, and finally the hardcore evidence. Now, the question is that the investigation is ongoing. There are 5 days. You talked about narco test. Narco test may not be admissible with the Supreme Court, but you realize in Kasab case, we got a lot of details through his narco test, which helped in, connecting the threads of the investigation and finally charge sheeting the case. So that is what the Delhi police is expecting in this particular case. Number 2, about the investigation. It's true that this man has tried to, obliterate every kind of evidence. But no matter how much a criminal tries to wipe out all the evidence, there are traces still left in the crevices, in the carpets, like, there was blood found on the table. There'll be some other things, in the hose pipes, in the other places. And therefore, I'm sure that the DNA mapping which will be done will be the hard clinching evidence which one will get.
Mr. Azad, one very crucial point that I want to bring to your notice is the lapse of time. We don't know how much time had lapsed between the butchering of the body and the arrest of Aftab, and therefore how much of this evidence could have been compromised, number one. And number two, the skull hasn't been found. The face, we understand, was burnt so that she was unrecognizable. The man has even sold his phone on OLX, and the fact that the parents have shifted. Do you think all of this is connected? And it's not just one criminal we are looking at, it's a larger plot that we are looking at.
Not yet. As far as the DNA sampling goes, after 35 years, even the remains of so many years back, the DNA samples can be traced and they can be matched. So that's number one, and that's going to be very hard clinching evidence. On the other point, Navika, and you also asked the gentleman friend who's speaking volumes about the case, and he had met her last in 2019. I'm really surprised that now that he's talking so much, why didn't even one of the friends, when they realized that she was in such an abusive relationship, getting, cigarette butts on her skin and things like that, why didn't they go to her place and rescue her? It often happens that the women in such cases, because of whatever blackmail, they are not able to come out of the relationships. But if, a drumming would have taken place, some NGO women would have taken up the case, they have shouted about it, then this incident won't have happened. So I think this is a very, very important lesson.
Rajat, you want to respond to that? Tessin, I'm coming to you. Rajat, you want to respond to that? Why did you drop off the map? Why did Shraddha drop off the friend's map? Why were you not in touch with her?
It is very easy for anybody to really blame me or anybody who is here, talking about these things. Sadly, people, we have been, so I had mentioned earlier as well, we always stood by Shraddha. Even during the college days when, we were there together for a lot of things. We studied together, we were there in theaters. So how would it be possible if she's suffering and we won't be affected? We would be definitely. But Aftab had created boundaries of that sort that, Shraddha herself voluntarily had chosen to distance herself from a lot of friends. And in that very situation, we can't really force somebody to take actions that we feel is right. We had, however, tried and suggested her what to do and what not. We had also, in a way, almost we would have taken Aftab to police. But then it was Shraddha to stop us. We have to understand this and now investigate.
Okay.
Not just
all
friends.
Right.
If it had been not just me or
if
anybody else,
Shraddha herself
you or anybody else,
was rejecting help from her friends, could the friends have done more? Is a question that hangs there. Tessin, where do you stand on the manner in which this case is proceeding?
I have a lot of respect for Mr. Azad. He served our country and he served the police force very, very well. But unfortunately, the Delhi police at the moment does not have a watertight case, and I have to break this. Look, I'm coming from a position where I want justice for Shraddha. I want Aftab, the accused, to get maximum punishment. Is the evidence at the moment for maximum punishment? No. Will Aftab be convicted? Yes, with this evidence they have. Maximum punishment? No, and that's what we want. Now, allow me to tell you why I say so. Because at the moment, Delhi police investigation is absolutely not professional by putting everything out. There are 3 or 4 things I need to put out here. Number one, they don't have the confession under 161 is quite meaningless in law. You know this, Navika ji, Azad ji knows this. So does Ishkarn. Now the courts cannot force you to do a narco test. Yes, you may. It'll give you directions, but the court cannot force you. The minute Aftab has a half good lawyer, he's going to withdraw his confession, and so is he going to refuse the narco test. Point number 2, the 35 pieces of body parts of Shraddha, very unfortunately found in Aftab's fridge or in the jungle, etc. He's going to take a U-turn and say, look, this was planted on me by the police. Even though the police may have certain evidences to show on video that this was found through him, he's going to take a U-turn and he's going to say, I have not led them to it. They've actually planted this on me because they wanted to solve the case. Point number 3. So Mr. Azad is actually right. The forensic evidence under section 27 of the Indian Evidence Act will be the clencher. DNA is not easily, you cannot get rid of DNA evidences. This will have to come along with a time-wrapped sequence of what was the intention of Aftab, how he managed to do this, and an entire sequence without being leaked to the media, without any external affairs, will have to be recreated to get a watertight case. Because remember, the defense only has to create reasonable doubt. It is the prosecution that has to prove beyond reasonable doubt for maximum punishment.
We've all seen the Supreme Court letting go the Chawla in the Chawla case. After a death sentence, the review has allowed allowed the accused to walk free. Are we going to once again see that happen? Because
so you'll get a conviction
because
in the court.
Aftab is changing his statements, and nobody has answered.
High Court and Supreme Court.
Nobody has answered the question on why the parents coincidentally moved away from their house.
Yes, that's very important.
Isn't that an important...
One last point. Just one last point. No, that they'll have to collaborate that with the evidence they have, and they'll have to prove it. But I have one last point. When you are participant to a crime, when you know that somebody is being physically abused, when you know that her back is being burnt by cigarettes, and you come on national television and said, "Oh, I stand by the girl, but I did not take action," you are party to the crime. I hope that if I ever have children, hypothetically, they don't have friends who stay party to the crime and then turn around and say, "Oh, but we didn't know, we just stood by her, we tried our best." I am sorry. That makes you a criminal as well. You should stand up and protect the people. Even if the person, the victim, says no, it is your legal, constitutional, moralistic duty to go to the police and stand up. You cannot hide under the fact, as a friend, I wanted the best for her, but I didn't do it. That makes you party to the crime.
Rajat, that's an important point. If she was being abused with cigarette butts on her back, merely trying to go and then she turning you away, was it enough? Or should you have filed an FIR in the police station, regardless, just for the safety of Shraddha?
We need to understand one thing here. You know, it's not some normal murder case, it's a very severe murder case. All the friends in the year 2021 who had been to Aftab's place, none of them are on television today. I last met Shraddha in the year 2019, and I think I was loud and clear, but I don't know why this gentleman was unable to hear about that. Today I am speaking on behalf to seek justice. If today I stop, I think for more 2 days this news will be there, and then everybody would shut. They'll have other news to talk about. Do you think I should really stop talking? Just because
certainly
the last
not.
communication
At least
that I had
he has the guts to come and speak, Ishkarn. You can't wish that away.
Two points I would like to make. First, I would like to compliment Tehseen. He's built a very decent defense counsel's case, if a defense counsel was defending this. But let us do the serious thing. The part I don't agree with Tehseen is when he tries to shame the witness. Somebody who's come forward to speak, we all have a natural inclination not to get into anybody's fight, especially in college. These are young people. In college, kisi ke pachde mein kaun padta hai is a thing which happens enough times in life, especially as he says, and there is no reason to disbelieve him, that Shraddha herself stopped him or she did not want her friends to get involved. It is with time, with experience, yes, you should have gone and done an FIR, but let us understand the context there. But the more important thing, which is the more important thing which I would want to speak here in, is this: as the investigation stands right now, I do believe Delhi Police is a very professional investigative agency and will do justice in this case. And if not, Navika ji, you are doing the show.
It's a hope we all carry, and hope and faith were also written on Aftab's arm. That's what he described. But Nikhat Abbas, I want to ask you, once again, I come back to the question, are there more people involved? Was somebody backing Aftab? And if Rajat is pointing out to some plot which is beyond just a murder, what is he hinting at? And are we ignoring that point?
Absolutely, Navika. We are absolutely ignoring this fact that this has a root cause which has started from the childhood. I'm talking here about the mentality of the people which is being carried by a specific community. Again, we can be modest enough by not talking about that community. We can have our own restrictions to not speak on the national television on a very prime debate about that topic. But the reality is that it is coming from that. Why are we saying only the maximum cases are coming from that community? Why? It is about the mentality. The children there are being taught that you should not watch television because it's haram, wherein they should be taught that this is not something which you should be doing because this can kill somebody. That's exactly what's happening right now. We are misguiding people. We're misleading the subjects we need to really talk about right now. My friend Tehseen has just spoken about Rajat. Let me just put out there, my friend, he has at least right now, he's been talking about that. That's exactly what we need. I agree that he should have spoken much before, but the reality is that he can tell us better that probably why Shraddha did not want to speak about it. Was there something else involved? We need to get into the root cause to why were the 20 girls involved in it? Why were the 20 girls coming in? Why was this boy dating 20 girls? We need to investigate the matter and ask these girls, and we should also see what community are they coming from. It is only one community. Is that being targeted? Do we see amongst the 20 girls not even a single coincidence, like the president of AIMIM said, that not even a single coincidence that the girl from the same community would have been dated by Aftab? It's all a bubble.
Okay,
we're living in a bubble right now. By
important point, and Advocate Talha Rashidi, I want to ask
the pattern is being made, and
in the 20 girls that are mentioned, Nighat Abbas says, isn't it an important point to see कि ये सारी लड़कियां कहां से थीं, कौन सी community से थीं? I think she's alluding to the point which are also part of the protest, that is a certain religion, a certain community being targeted. Do we have any pattern that is emerging is a question. Of course, the AIMIM Delhi president says no, that unnecessarily this is being politicized, but where do you stand?
Navika ji, it's very unfortunate that such a gruesome crime is being used by political and communal vultures to gauge political mileage and their communal mileage, and they are trying to mislead the direction of the investigation. These right-wing bigots and these wannabe prejudiced Sherlock Holmes sitting on media channels are trying to mislead the investigation instead of focusing on the investigation, instead of questioning the Mumbai police and Delhi police why it took 6 months for them to discover the story.
We are questioning that, but we are also questioning why have the parents suddenly gone missing, and why has the police not been able to trace the parents so far? Is this a larger conspiracy? It's a natural question.
I have been silent for half an hour. Okay, let me complete, then you can rebut me. I have been sitting here silent for half an hour. Let me complete my statement itself. You know, why we don't even know to which community, to which religion does Aftab belong. We don't know, but these right-wing bigots, these prejudiced Sherlock Holmes sitting on media channels are trying to lead this investigation on a different angle, on a communal angle, on a religious note. What is love jihad?
Navika, allow me to come in, please.
Rajesh Gupta of Delhi killed his wife and cut her into 70 pieces. What jihad was that? No one is questioning that. To which religion does Aftab belong? No one knows that, but this is being deliberately being used to target a community, to target a religion, to demonize a community in India. But no one is interested in trying and getting justice to Shraddha, to her painful family. No
now
one is interested in getting justice to them.
Aftab is being questioned whether he actually is from one community and whether his name actually depicts his community or not. Even that question is being raised on the Newshour tonight. Well, I don't know. Aftab had a handle, a social media handle that is out, where he wrote faith and hope. Yes, maybe we are assuming that Aftab is the right name, and that is what is giving his religion away. But should we really wait and watch? We are angry as a society today that a man could actually befriend a girl, keep her as a live-in partner, and then so mercilessly kill her, abuse her with cigarettes, and then kill her and chop her body into 35 parts that were distributed across the city. And the question is that he can actually order from Zomato, drink beer, watch Netflix while he is doing that. That really takes a certain mindset to do a crime like this. Is there more to this murder? Are there more people involved? Is there a conspiracy that runs wider? Have the parents been found yet? Why not after 5 days? And has the investigation and the coordination between Delhi police and Mumbai police been so slow and obnoxious that today people of India believe absolutely clueless on whether or not Shraddha will get justice? Well, we'll keep fighting for it. Shraddha will not be forgotten. But can we keep the pressure on? Will we forget and divert our attention somewhere else in just a bit. It's a fear that lives on in our minds. Thank you very much to our panelists for joining me on the Newshour Debate number 1.